All right. Welcome to the show. Awesome. Friday. The weekend's here. Wow, time flies. But at the same time, it feels like I haven't been on a podcast in like 8 months. It's so weird. Yummy. Anyway, so yeah, anybody wants to ask any questions or any topics you want to talk about, go ahead. I have some things couple of things we can go over. Yes, so I wanted to mention that I will have Dan Buglio. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Steven. I will have Dan Buglio as a guest. It will be marketing your calendar. April the 18th, 4 p.m. Dan, that's on a Thursday. Make sure you check it out because that's going to be awesome. I'll be asking him a bunch of questions, and it'll be live. It'll be on Restream, and then you guys can ask some questions. Why not? So, okay, I'm gonna let my dog out. Give me a sec. Come on, guys. Go. All right, I'm back. What time is it in the UK there, Stefan? Hi, Jill. Thanks for joining. I got a couple of topics that we can talk about. Nice. All right. So one thing that I remember going through my journey was that the brain, especially in the mornings when I had morning anxiety, usually I had a topic or a target or an alarm as soon as I woke up, right? Because I had anxiety in the mornings for probably 2.5 years to 3 years. It was one of the last things to go. It was really sticky, and everything else was recovered. I was good. All my health issues, my gut issues, all gone. Mast cell activation syndrome, all food sensitivities. All the two safe foods that I had for the first year and a half. Like I was dealing with two safe foods. All of a sudden, it was like a switch went on. All of a sudden, I was reacting to foods, right? And I was a person that loved food. Food was I had a passion for food. And all of a sudden, all these foods are gone, and yeah. So anyway, I was healed. Everything was back to normal. All the foods are back. Mass activation syndrome gone. Gut issues gone. Chronic fatigue gone. Multiple chemical sensitivity gone. That was one of the first ones to go. My muscle tension in my gut, right, and my pelvic floor, that was brutal. Was also one of the last things to go, and it was also gone. So all the symptoms are gone except for the morning anxiety. That was still lingering and holding on. So I was like, I know how this works. I was getting annoyed though because I was like, okay, it's about time now, man. I've been doing this work. Like, why are you lingering, right? And I knew that the more I asked why, the more the brain's like, let's just keep it on for now, because this guy's just he just recovered a bunch of shit. I just just to be safe, let's keep some of these alarms on just for a little bit longer, and then we'll see how he reacts. So I was still looking kind of like going, all right, man, like what the fuck. So anyway, so usually my routine was waking up in the morning, doing a daily dare, which were like 10 minutes, making the bed. Then I'd put like one of Dan Buglio's videos on, right? I'd listen to that. It's always a good go-to. It's very relaxing. His videos weren't too long, and he was always doing breathing in the beginning. He was always like, all right, let's inhale this peace and exhale the noise. Inhale the confident. Like I tried doing that, but I could never think of a word in time. I was like, inhale I don't know, fuck, this is not working. So I just go, right. So that was a good intro to the day, and then usually by but at that time I already had something that on my anxiety menu, I already had a thought that was torturing me. And throughout my recovery with anxiety, intrusive thoughts, OCD looping thoughts was my big one. I would have usually five big ones that I would go through. Five big, either I'm gonna die, something's wrong with my gut, or I need to go to the hospital, something's gonna explode, or I'm gonna suffer for the rest of my life. Doubt, doubt, doubt. I'm a special case. I will never, right? Or something, or there was other ones that took a while for them to, like, I was always chopping at them every day, bit by bit. It was like a big shit sandwich that I was taking a tiny bite from the 3 years of doing this work. Some of these, you'll know that some of these alarms take a little bit longer to dissolve, right? And the way we do it is we allow them to be there, let them do their thing, walk towards them, go, Limby, okay, show me what you got. Oh, I don't like that one. You're still pressing that one, eh? The fuck. All right, bring it on. Lean into it. Picture it as a purple cloud moving forward. Invite it in. All right, you open the door. Come on, come forward. I invite you in. Limby, show me what you got, and it comes to your chest and your throat, and you can feel half of the energy go. But I would always linger on for the day. I'd let it sit on my shoulder. I'm like, all right, sit on my shoulder while we go run our errands, because I had a schedule that I was sticking to for the week, and that was my thing. That's what I did. I stuck to my schedule, and I would bring the content or the alarm with me, right? The one of the big five ones, I'd bring it with me. But then it would sometimes fuck off for a bit, and then you got the rest of the week where you have little alarms that are torturing you, going, hey you. So like on a Tuesday, there'd be something random that's bugging you. All of a sudden you got a phobia or something, your guts stabbing pains, right? And then you're fixated on that, right? That was usually my Tuesday. Then Wednesday, it was something, I saw something, like, and you hear, I felt something, or I had foot pain, or this random crazy anxiety that didn't have a picture to it or content or nothing, or it was one of my foods is out, or 10 of my foods are out again, or it could have been, it was usually the small alarms would last me a day or two. In the morning, with the morning anxiety, that was the subject of the day or 2 days, right? Like, oh fuck, okay, all right, so that's what we're working on today. So I would do my turbo exposures, because at that time, like through a year and a half into my journey, I was able to do turbo exposures because I built leverage, and I was at that point where I could do it. So I was doing my turbo exposures. Turbo exposures is where you take something like that's bugging you that day, anxiety, a thought that's like fucking scaring the shit out of you, right? You get your phone, right? Get your phone, press record, and you describe in detail exactly what it is that's scaring the shit out of you. And when you do this, because you're dealing with it anyway, right? So some people are like, I can't talk about it. That's just too triggering. Oh my God, but you're triggered by it anyway. So talk about it, do a paragraph in detail in your phone. Go, all right, here we go. I'll make one up that is probably, I'm going to try to make it very neutral so nobody gets triggered. I'll try. Hey, fuck it, if it's triggering or whatever. It's a part of the process to recover anyway, to get triggered. So, okay, I'll say I'm afraid of fields, because I'm scared that if I walk into an open field or any field, there's a bush there, that I'm going to be bitten by a tick, and then I'm going to have Lyme disease, and I'm going to have to do this whole process over again. Fuck's sakes, I'm scared, right? So I would say that exact same thing 10 times, right? And every time you say it, feel your alarm is at 10, right? You feel like shit. You're like, oh, fuck, that's triggering. I can't, while you're saying it, you're like, oh, because you're picturing it, you're talking about it, you're getting to the root of it, you're exposing it. You're going towards the alarm, and you're going, all right, we see you, I'm acknowledging you. All right, alarm, here you are talking about it. 10 times. And then after that 10th time, press stop, right? Put your phone down. You sit in the fear, because you just triggered yourself. Right? You talked about whatever was scaring you that day, right? And you have it in an audio file. You're talking about it. You're sitting in the fear. Your alarms are at 10, right? You're like, fucking feel like shit. You're like, oh my god, this feels so real because the smokes and mirrors are working at full force. This is your reality right now. It's an urgent feeling. We got to act now. We got to either fight or flee. That's what it keeps pushing it. Going, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? Are we? Or is it? It could have been that day that I had a gut pain, and it's saying we got to go to the hospital because something's going to explode right now. What's your answer? What are we going to do? We got 3 seconds before it explodes. 3, 2. What's the answer? What's the answer? It's like a bomb going deet, 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 deet. Right? It's waiting for. It's like okay, okay, okay. So then you acknowledge it, you let it be, but you do you acknowledge it, yeah, you let it do its thing, and then you engage. So usually I had, you know, um, a topic every day. It was either something's going to explode or blah blah blah. But sometimes I'd wake up, I'm going to the shower, I feel anxious, and there's no topic. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, right. In the first few times, you're kind of caught off guard. I'm like, well, it's not picking anything to fucking throw in my face. It's not because it's supposed to get your attention. It's doing its job because you're at a state of fight or flight, right? Your bucket's full. Your baseline's at 1,000. So its job is to get your attention to perceive danger. Like when your baseline's at 1,000, your alarm system has to throw down alarms, right? And it does it really well, right? Because it needs to get your attention to perceive danger. So we either fight or flee. What's the response that you're going to give? Doing its job? Okay, good. But there are times where it's throwing an alarm, but there's no content. There's no bait to pull you. And I remember I'd be taking a shower and I'm like, oh fuck, something's coming. I know there's nothing, but I feel anxious. But I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'm gonna wash my hair. I'm gonna start getting the day going. All right. And then usually right when I notice that nothing's happening, right? I know it's brewing. That's the thing. You can see, you can feel. Oh, it's looking for something. The brain's going, okay, no, not good enough. Okay, yeah, we'll put that one aside. You know what? That one over there. Thank you. Okay, we're doing this one. You're like, and here we go. This is the topic of the day, right? It goes, here you go. You're gonna fucking ruminate on that. You're gonna fucking loop on this shit right here. And right, I'd be like, right? That's how it worked. But it's interesting how there are some days where in the morning it would be nothing, just anxiousness. And I'd be like, oh, it's coming. I can feel it. I can feel it looking. I can feel my brain looking through the files of shit that's going to throw in my face. And it's interesting when my baseline, like my anxiety would go up and down, I actually feel pressure in my ear going, because you notice all the physical changes when you're going through this shit. So I'm like, oh yeah, something's happening. I'm it's coming to me. I could feel it because I'm like, fuck, here we go. Content, here you go. You're gonna ruminate on ticks today. You think you have Lyme disease today. Let's try that on, helmet. I'm like, fuck. Like, you're like, no, take that off. No, we're gonna wear this on. And for the next couple of days, I'd be convinced I had Lyme disease or that I was, I had a tick bite. So, and in the beginning of my journey, when things were more intense, because my baseline was at 1,000 and my bucket was fucking full, right? And this is when I just first was starting the methods. It was still new to me, and it was intense. So of course, we're gonna do the topic of ticks, okay? Because I'm sure some of you have dealt with this too, and this could be for anything. I'm just taking one thing that bugged me, right? There was no evidence that I was bitten by one, but I watched the DNRS videos about that one guy that was bitten by a tick, right? And the shit he went through was so I don't know, because I was looking for evidence of success because my brain was going doubt. You're not gonna recover. No, fuck off, cock block, right? So I was like, no, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look for success stories because that's gonna give me the evidence that I need to push me over this bridge. So I'm like, all right, let's pick this guy. He seems pretty straightforward, right? He's like, yeah, I had Lyme disease And then I went back in time with him fucking like fucking half dead on the fucking in the hospital going, Mom, like fucking, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I wish I didn't see that. And then, next scene he's like, and I feel great. I'm playing hockey. It's fucking awesome, right? Then that was burned in my brain. So, my brain would, even if somebody walked by and said, my knee fucking hurts, right? The next day my knee would hurt, right? So, but this story was stored in my back of my brain. And then, you know, the files, it would pick and go, yes, let's use this one. Cause we know, he watched this video a couple months ago. Let's bring this one up. It'll fuck with him. And this will get his attention to the perceived danger that we feel is in our environment. Helmet, there's a tiger that's still hanging on your back because of all the bullshit you went through in your life. Your baseline's at 1,000, right? My baseline was at 1,000 because all the bullshit that I went through in my life. So it needed to get my attention. So of course, you know, it would bring up this story that I saw on TV, and I thought, or on DNRS and YouTube, and I thought, shit, now I got it. And it would mimic shit. It would make me. I'd get all these symptoms, these mental symptoms. It's all fucked up. Like my right side would be all weak, and fucking my speech would be slurred, and my head would feel like it was a bubble like this. I'm like, oh fuck, I got it. There's fucking, and I was so compulsive. I was going through my bed, taking all the covers off, and I'd see like a little speck. I'd be like, what the fuck is that? I'd get a light, put the, that's fuck. Is that? I'm like, it's supposed to be small. Maybe it's big. Well, what if it's, so I'm idiot Googling which one has Lyme, which one is, right? I'm researching shit, and I'd be like, oh, here's a little rash. Is that in a circle? Well, that's fucking itchy. It's in the summer. There's bugs around. There's fucking, right? So this is like at my worst, right? Eventually, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. Eventually you build leverage. Shit doesn't affect you anymore. Very minimally, and you get the routine down, right? But with health anxiety, everything's an alarm, and the brain likes to try things on. And there's me fucking sweeping the floors, fucking, looking at every corner, seeing, oh, I see a speck. I gotta go through the bed. Like I was like a crackhead looking for meth, like searching through, like some of the people you see downtown. They're going through, they're searching through like sand and seeing if they can see. That was me looking for any certain bug that could, give me some certain disease or Lyme disease. So that's how crazy it got. But there'd be days, of course, where you got nothing. And you'd be like, well, what's happening? What are you gonna hit me with? What are you gonna, come on, please don't give me that Lyme one. Cause I just fucking conquered that one last week. Give me something different. And it would give you a different one. Cause you're like, please don't give me that one. Please don't give me that. And it would give you another one that's worse. I'm like, I want the Lyme one back. And sometimes I would be sitting down and I'd be like, you know what? I'm actually happy that I can say this. That I'm happy because it would give me a topic. It'd be like, here's your topic. Here's what you're gonna deal with today. This is what you're gonna be fucking freaking out about today. Here it is, right here. I would get it. I'm like, you know what? It feels good to say that I'm grateful that you give me this topic because I can handle this one. This feels good. Oh, it could be worse. It could be Lyme. Yeah, thank you. Right? And I'd be going on with my day and everything would be fine. Well, no, it wouldn't be fine, but I was handling it properly. It was an opportunity day because those days are like opportunity days because it's how you respond that changes the alarms, right? If you don't fight, you don't resist, right? You don't survive through, right? It's how you respond in the danger that sends a message of safety. And when you do that with repetition, it brings the baseline down, it empties your bucket, right? And then the alarms get less intense because they don't need to be so intense because you're starting to bring the security back down to a reset. You're resetting the security system, right? So it doesn't have to be so intense. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk about that. I got a bunch of other topics, but I'm gonna head up and see some of these questions here. Head pressure and vision distortion today on my turbo exposure. Yeah, head pressure. I was just talking about that. When I did the visuals, I would get head pressure. And apparently in DNRS, they said that in the forum that a lot of people experience that. When you're doing the visuals, you will get, you might notice that there's some pressure For me, it was like I felt high. I felt a little bit foggy. I felt a little bit like tickly, pressure, and in the back of my head, I felt there was cracking. There was fucking cracking going. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why is there cracking? And then I thought I was gonna have a stroke. Right, I'm walking. Right, because sometimes I did walking visuals. So I'm like, all of a sudden, I feel pressure like a ball like this. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'd walk back to the car. I'm like, oh fuck this shit. Right, I'm going through the DNS form. Going, did you experience this while you're doing it? And people are like, yeah, my God, that's normal. That means you're doing it. I'm like, so I'm sitting in the car, fucking laughing and going, this is fucking great. This is horrible. I hate this, and this is great at the same time. And it would lift. And then after 10 times of dealing with this, doing visuals, um, when it comes back, you're like, hey, buddy. It becomes a friend. It actually gives you reassurance because you know it's going to go. And it's a familiar symptom. That's the thing with symptoms. When you experience them, of course, the first 5 times you're going to fall on your face. It's going to be, you can get catastrophized, freak out. That's how we learn, right? This isn't a perfect journey. You can't. You have to fall on your face. You got to fuck up. You got to make mistakes. So that's how you build your leverage. Anyway, so yeah, fuck. Okay, so yeah, the big head. Yes. Um, Visualizations referred. Did they make you anxious? Did they, that? Yeah, I felt all kinds of things, and sometimes I'd be so sidetracked with my day of the alarm. That day's alarm, I'd be sidetracked that I couldn't do the visuals. There'd be days where I was doing visuals and I would waste 45 minutes because the brain was constantly pulling me left and right and right. So there was some days where I got like no work done. But I also, I haven't mentioned this much, but my day usually was I'd go in my car, I start my visuals, but before I start my visuals, I'd take 10 minutes or 5 minutes and feel feelings. So I'd go, okay, Limby, what do you got today? What do you got left over from last night or yesterday or the theme this week? Let's process it before I start my visuals because I don't want to go into the visuals because it's like, hold on, wait, what about me? Because then, you got the resistance and you can't flow in your visuals, right? So every day for 10 minutes, I'd be like, all right, what are we doing? It's a little bit like a, time to organize your day. Time to go, okay, what are we working on, right? I'd have my book. I'm like, okay, we're doing my visuals. I got a list of my visuals right here. We're gonna hit that in a second, but right now, okay, we're gonna feel some feelings. All right. So I put this down. I go, all right, Limby, what do you got? Okay, yeah, I got some leftover shit. I can feel it here. All right, and then it gets cut in half. The energy starts to die down a bit, right? The energy starts to dissolve, and then I'm like, okay. So let's say that took 6 minutes or whatever, it's still hanging on my shoulder a little bit. I'm like, all right, let's do some visuals. Let's get started. But today's plan is we're doing visuals. I got them right here, and I got my future visuals right there. And then we're gonna have a little post-it note. Okay, today we're doing right now visuals, and then we're hitting up our routine. I got my schedule right here. I take it out, my schedule for the week. I'm like, yep, we got to go buy this, do this, go over there, and then we got to go and elevate. So we're gonna have some playtime, have some fun, go for a walk. I'd write that shit down, right? This is before I was doing my visuals. So I'd set my day up, right? I'm like, okay, boom, done. All right, we're gonna follow that to the T. Here we go. So that I'd get my shit, have a sip of tea or whatever I was drinking, and get right into it. That's how I did my visuals. And there's times where you get symptoms, right? And there's people that I've mentioned, like with me, I had problems with visuals sometimes where the thought of the day or the alarm of the day would, totally fucking distract me and take most of my time, hog the time, hijack my time. Some people mention that they can't seem to get visuals going because they just can't remember shit. It's just their brain is so closed. The prefrontal cortex is saying, no, we got other things to work. Like it's sitting in the back seat, right? And the amygdala's in the front seat going, no. We're talking about, all we got to do, what I think about is our alarms right now. So, and if you have an old memory that's too triggering or it's not very pleasant, right? So, because you're so closed, right? None of the good memories are coming in there. You can't find any. So you make them up. And just bear with me. I will find you a great YouTube channel. Um, okay, it's Nemo's Dreamscape, right? Um, that's his. He's got 1 million subscribers, and as you can see, it's all these videos. You know, here I'll show you my favorite one. It's music from the 1920s, 1930s, right in the background, right, and it'd be like a one scene that's there that just keeps looping and looping. And I didn't really use it for the scenes, right? But I used it for the atmosphere. So I'd have it playing, put my phone down, and I'd make up a past visual, right? It'd be like a past life I would explore. I'd be like, okay, so this is, I'm in Chicago. I'm on a train, 1930s. I'm with my girlfriend. We're gonna go visit her family. That's the next state over. We're gonna have Thanksgiving, and I'm 18. She's 18, and blah blah blah. Like I would go into detail, and I would just get lost because the music would bring the atmosphere to me, and it just start the juices would flow. It's just so natural. Everything was just anything to get the visuals going, so you can sit and dose dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, so you can pull down that baseline. And the more you pull that baseline down, the more the visuals open up, right? And the visuals, they're not just there to bring the baseline down. They're there for you to have that meeting with yourself, to be accountable, to speak it out, and to do the work every day. It's a meeting with yourself to get organized, right? And it's also you're flexing, you're working that spiritual muscle so that you can get these golden nugget downloads, right? Those golden nuggets of clarity that we need from our higher self, our guides, or XYZ. What do you believe in? Whatever your beliefs are, fill in the substitute my beliefs for your beliefs, and get in touch with your beliefs, right? With your faith. And the visuals are a great opportunity to do that, because we'll get golden nuggets of clarity, because you'll get help either from God or Buddha, or for me, my higher self, my guides, and that would help me move forward, right? And when I got these golden nuggets, I'd be swearing in the car, freaking out, going, "Oh, that was amazing! Oh my fuck, what was that?" And I'd replay it, I'd write it down in my book of like, blah 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 blah. Date is blah blah blah. The message that I'm getting is blue 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 blue, and I would get my recording, and I'd give it a file name with a like couple of X's. So I'd be like, "This is a golden nugget of clarity. Listen to this later," and it's beautiful, right? So yeah, visuals for me were an amazing time of the day. I loved it. It wasn't something that was like a drag, like, oh fuck, I gotta do visuals for an hour. Fuck. It was something that I loved. I looked forward to, and I usually did 50 minutes, but I also added the 10 minutes of feeling the feelings, getting organized, getting my book ready, getting my tea, right? And then, get into the flow of things. And if you're in a flow of something, whatever it is, if it's a past or a future visual, don't just, keep going if you can. Because if you're in the flow of it, use it, right? Take advantage of it. Keep going. If you're there for another 10 minutes, keep going. If you're doing a past visual and, you're getting good momentum, and you're supposed to be at your future, who gives a shit? Just keep going, right? Okay, so here, I gotta try to see where I can get the chat so I can see. Here we go. All right, let's go through these questions. Sorry, sometimes I get passionate and I just go on a rant on my own here. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. where you're at. Probably 11:29 now. That's awesome. It's a little late Friday, eat some chocolate, hang out. 9 a.m. Saturday. Joe, where are you from again? I forget where that's from. Yo, Jones, Henry, what's up? Rod Dog. Hey, man, I'm not digesting proteins, fats, and got blue, blue, blah, blue, 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 blah, blah, blue. Do I need to treat blue, blah, blah, blue, or can I use the program, man? Use the program. If you need to, if your doctor says do this, that, and the other, I always say to everybody, always listen to your doctor, right? And this is, that being said, after that, got to cover my ass, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble or nothing. You always listen to your doctor. Start the program. Like start it yesterday, right? Get it going because at the end of the day, when you regulate your limbic system, you bring down you reset your alarm system. Your body's able to heal. It's able to catch up on all the bullshit it hasn't been able to work on because it's been trying to keep you alive from all these bear attacks that it's perceiving. Right? When it finally has a chance to catch up and heal and put everything back into balance, all this shit goes away. Right? You won't need any supplements, any medications. You won't need any coping mechanisms. They become irrelevant. Right? All these problems just go away. They solve themselves. They sort themselves out on their own. So, but in the beginning, if you need coping mechanisms, use them, just so that you're not overwhelmed, so that you can do the program. Because some people are like, yeah, but I got to take this and that, and I can't blah 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 blah, because then I'll be in I can't sleep, and then I got blah, 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 right. So I say, yeah, well, if you got to take that Advil, or that for the pain, or you got to take that one thing or the other, just so that you can function, so that you can do the program, do it. It's only temporary until you regulate, and eventually you'll be able to slowly get off all these coping mechanisms or whatever you're on, and you'll be able to get to the root and fully recover and restore and thrive, right? Alrighty. Stefan. Head pressure. Yep, we just talked about that. Yeah, it feels like Tyson has clipped me. Tyson at 20 or Tyson at 56? I guess it doesn't matter. It still hurt. Vision distortion. Yeah, I had blurry vision. I had floaters, right? They would float all around. And they never really freaked me out. I know some people, they get really freaked out with floaters. And then you try to follow a floater, and you can never follow it for some reason. It's so weird how that works. Did doing visualizations at first cause? Yes. And they did. Eventually it fades. But you know what? With all my anxiety, it didn't matter if I was anxious with visuals or I was anxious. I was anxious all the time. OCD looping thoughts all the time. This was just a constant program that I was dealing with. So I became friends with my anxiousness, my OCD looping thoughts, my intrusive thoughts, right? It became those were my big shit sandwiches. One of the five. The OCD looping thoughts. I was in a constant terror, constant looping of your biggest fear constantly going. Plus I had post-traumatic stress. Well, most of us usually do, right? Especially when you're afraid of your own symptoms. You go within and you loop on your symptoms. So it all regulates. So it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant if it's your visuals or where it is, right? Even with food, I had the same problem with food. I would try to figure out, okay, I had this 3 days ago, and I had that today. So maybe I have a delayed reaction. I would have delayed reactions with food, would come like 3 days later, or that day, or before I would eat something, right? I put it in my mouth, and all of a sudden I get these fucking stabbing pains. I'm like, dude, it's not even in my colon. How am I having fucking stabbing pains down? It does not make, right? So trying to figure things out and analyze is pointless. Treat it all the same across the board. Do the work. Allow it all to be there equally, because it's all irrelevant. It's all smokes and mirrors. Let it all do its thing and engage in life and bring it with you, right? Angela, awesome. Good to have you here. I can relate. I can relate to those triggers. I hate TV commercials for back pain meds. Oh man, TV commercials, like, especially for the Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Get back to life, and there'd be a person going, like, walking and just like back to life, and like side effects. It's like, oh fuck, right? Because then you want to try it on. When I see someone wincing and rubbing their sore back, I cringe and quickly change the channel. Yeah, we all get our triggers. Exactly, mate. Felt trippy without the taking the mushroom. Yeah, yeah, man. Foods would make me feel high at times, as if I just smoked weed. It was weird. There was times where I ate a tomato, and I would have problems breathing, but I didn't go anaphylactic. Like, I didn't go all the way there, right? I would just go like ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like, like I was monitoring my breathing. It was labored. It felt like, tightness of the chest, right? And then I'd feel a little high. I'm like, oh, fuck. It felt good. Weird. It felt good. And then I felt flu-like symptoms, and my nose started running. And I'd feel like pressure, and then brain fog started to come, and my eyes would hurt. I was like, oh, and then my face would be fucking hot and red, right? Only up to here. From here to here, hot. Fucking hot, right? Yeah, it's like flushing red, whatever. Down here, normal. Up here, hot, right? And I'd be like, oh, do I have, uh, oh no, oh my God. And then this is right after I stopped checking my temperature 1,000 times because I thought, well, I don't want to have an infection again because I got to go to the hospital, sepsis, and, catastrophize. But eventually I got used to it because you experience your symptoms over and over again. The first 5 times you fall on your face, you freak out, you go to the hospital. Okay, okay, okay. But eventually it comes back, becomes friends with it. You're like, oh, you. Ah, that's food. Yeah. Oh, you. Ah, yeah, no, it's delayed food reaction, whatever. Um, and yeah, I would feel high. It's crazy. I can't do, I too can't get memories on my visuals, so I make them up. Exactly. I go from anxiousness to Iron Man in 20 minutes. Right. So, yeah, check out Nemo's Dreamscapes. And even for sleep, I would put it on because I would just not because I was doing anything for, you know, visuals or anything, but I enjoyed it was just so warming and it felt like I was traveling in time into a different reality. And I was like, okay, well let's pretend like we're on a farm in the 1920s or 1950s. Not oh, I have a 57 Chevy and I have a business and no, I work at the Chevy plant, right? I have a home, a family, and the we're having Christmas dinner or yeah, Christmas, a lot of Christmas themes. I envisioned with this music playing in the background, and sometimes I'd envision myself as a kid in my room. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm still up, and my dog's asleep at the end of the bed, and I can hear my parents, talking. They're smoking. Back then, they smoked. People smoked, and they're having a little party. There's like 4 or 5 people there. They're laughing, and then you can hear the music playing, and right, and it feels like. And if you just check out the comments, some of these people are like, I swear I lived that life. I can. It feels so familiar, and it's eerie and weird, but in a good way. And then you're engaging in this, right? You're like, oh, this is so pleasant. I love this. So I made a habit of falling asleep to these videos. Fuck it, right? Whatever works, right? You find your things that make you, what you can engage in and elevate in. For me, it was music during the day. Music was always, you can't help yourself, but to dance and to move your butt, right? Like right now, like I'm gonna put some music on. I'll show you. I'm able to put music on with this. It's pretty cool. Right? So you can picture yourself. Pretend it's 1935 New York. You're walking downtown. You got the newspaper all over your head. You got a hat on. Right? It's a little windy. But no, you're not downtown. You're like on a street because if it was downtown, you'd hear people and So this is, sounds like this can help you escape into the visual, right? And you get right detailed. So you get to the building or the house, and then you don't have an umbrella, and you get into the house, and then you start with your story or whatever. Um, what else do I have? I have like jazz music. Here we go. You're at a ball. That's hopefully it's like old jazz. Yeah, that seems like more new. Anyway, so you can find some old stuff and have fun with it. All right, let's get back to the chat. Exactly. Um, when I started with the high anxiety and my system was crashing, I had chronic choking postnasal drip, which at the time I thought it was an allergy, but it was part of my crash. Yeah, I never. No, maybe I did. I don't know, but I would wake up in the middle of the night choking. So maybe that's what it was. I would wake up choke, and even if there was nothing that went down there, I would just be like trying to gasp for air, and like, you know, it's like my body jolted, and I was like, oh yeah. So sleeping was, I guess we might as well talk about sleep while we're at it. It seemed like I always had bad dreams, right? During the first 8 months, bad dreams, you can count on it. Insomnia the first 5 months, I would get maybe 2 hours of sleep. You finally fall asleep, and then, I'd look at the clock. I'm like, fuck, 2 hours went by? Ugh. And it was like my nightmare because I'd be like, okay, well, I got to get up. I can't sleep. I got to get up. And then I was a person that could always sleep. Like, I was a sleeper. I love sleep. Sleep was I used to take naps because, that's my parents took naps, so I took nap. And I came to the point where all of a sudden I could sleep for an hour and a half. And that to me, I was not okay with that. That scared the shit out of me. So then eventually when I was doing the work and um, I was becoming indifferent to losing sleep. I said, if I lose sleep, that's good. I hope I lose sleep tonight. I hope I lose sleep tomorrow and the next day. I hope all week I don't fucking sleep. Maybe an hour tops. That's okay. I want that to happen. Let's make it happen. Because when I did that, I took away the resistance, which brought the baseline down. I took away the fight. The inner battle that you have when you don't like feeling a certain symptom. When you take it away, like with sleep, it allowed me to finally get some rest and sleep maybe 6 hours, right? And I kept working from there, and eventually I could sleep. But also, when I did sleep, my brain saw this as an opportunity because I was, you're open bait. The brain goes, we can get him with some alarms to get his attention. And it's also an opportunity for the brain for me to work through shit. But in the beginning, I wasn't working through it. I was running away from it. I was freaking out, right? But I used to use also my dreams to use the same methods. I would, like, a lot of my dreams was me in a hospital and them giving me, uh, the bad news. Helmet, you have this. See the test? Yeah, unfortunately, that means blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. You can see right here. And I'd be like, oh my goodness, you're right. Right? And that would usually be my dream. It would hijack my dreams, send me alarms, and I would wake up and I would think it was a sign from above telling me something, but it was my physical brain cock blocking me and using this as an opportunity to send alarms to perceive danger. And I overthought, and I, thought they meant something, but they didn't. They didn't mean. It was just it did its job to get my attention. So eventually, I learned that, and eventually the dreams regulated and they weren't as scary anymore. And I knew what it was doing. It was just hijacking. And I remember I had times in the first year of my journey where around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the mornings, I'd wake up and I felt like I was dying. Like I was like, oh, I can barely breathe. Okay, I felt a feeling of doom, and my heart rate would skyrocket, and then it would slow down, way down. It felt like I was having a panic attack, like I was gonna die. I was like, "Ugh," and all of a sudden I'd feel it and go, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, how is this going slow when I feel like I'm having a full-on panic attack? It should be going, grrrr, right? And then it would go, grrrr, then boom. I'm like, this makes no sense. And then I thought, okay, this is my time. I'm going to lay down and I'm just going to let myself go and die peacefully. But no, everything, it would settle. And then I'd go back to bed. And I hated those, man. They're one of the scariest things you ever go through, right? When you wake up, you're running down the hallway. You're like, well, I can't, there's nothing I can do. I can't even reach for a phone to call an ambulance. By the time I even talk, I'll be dead, right? My dog would be there. I'd be like, I couldn't look at my dog because, when you're dying, when you think you're dying, everything is you suffer through everything. Even walking from here to there is like the worst suffering feeling, right? So you just have acceptance. You're like, oh, no, take me now. I want to die. Let's do this. And then it doesn't happen and it fades and you're like, all right, let's, holy fucking shit, that was crazy. I don't know how I'm still alive. Maybe this is like the Sixth Sense movie where I am dead, but I think I'm alive. Maybe this is all a trip. Maybe, right? And then that would happen to me 3 times a week for 8 months. And eventually I saw the patterns. I'm like, oh fuck, it still did. Even though I saw the patterns, it did not. Um, it gave me like 40-cent relief because I knew. But then I was like, is this ever gonna fucking stop? And then it would stop, and then once in a while it would come back, and then. But I don't know what the fuck they were. I don't know what it was. Maybe they were cortisol crashes. No idea. Maybe I had so much cortisol that I needed to dump. It needed to go right. And when it does that, it's scary. When I was in fight or flight for 3 weeks solid, I was lucky to get half-hour sleep per night. Yeah, I was too busy shaking and fighting thoughts. Yeah, man. I too thought I was dying. Yep. Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, that was a tough time, and I remember, I was so desperate. This is before I found the path to the mind and body space and followed the path and started getting results and evidence, and I was like, okay, this is gonna. And I had a knowing, an inner knowing, this was the way I was gonna recover, even though reality was saying, you're not gonna. What are you talking? Look at everything. Look at this. No, no. How do you? I had an inner knowing. It was weird, but my reality around me was saying, not at all. And I remember I was trying out different supplements because I went down these rabbit holes before the mind body thing when I was doing the Facebook groups and watching YouTube gurus saying, no, no, you need copper, you need more iron, you need iron, no, you need some more, right? So I was like, I bought all these supplements, and I remember I'd taken copper. It made me feel really relaxed, but it made me feel really fucked up. And then there was a couple times I thought I overdosed on copper. I was like, oh fuck, I think, why did I take that? Because I wanted relief from whatever I was dealing with. It gave me relief, but put me towards a different hell. So I was like, no, you know what? I'd rather deal with the hell that I know. I don't like that one, so I fucking threw that out. I was like, this is stupid. I should not be fucking around with pills and fucking supplements. I'm asking for problems, big time. So I threw them all out. And all my quercetin, all these crazy supplements that were like hard to get and very expensive, threw them all out. And I said, no, I'm going in naked. I'm doing this all bare bones. Plus, I was reacting to this, so I couldn't even take magnesium. So I was like, everything, I was reacting to everything. Nothing. I couldn't take any of my medications for UC. I couldn't take nothing. I was going in naked. We're doing it naked, right? That's what I did. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I had sensitivities that were so severe that my brain's going, we're not letting anything in, we're letting everything out. I'm glad it did that, so that I wouldn't rely on things like antihistamines. I couldn't take those, right? Because if you rely on these things, if your body allows them to, then you become stuck managing. And those are the people that get stuck, right? So I thought it was better that I was more severe, so that I was forced to be rock bottom and start from scratch and not take on these coping mechanisms, because they would just, it's like you got to fall harder to move up further in life and to recover, right? When you're in that sweet spot, you're kind of comfortable and you're surviving, and you're never going to dig deep enough to fully recover. And that's dangerous, right? So I'm grateful that I was in the dark, lowest of the low, shit show, terror, nightmare, exorcism, dark night of the soul. I'm grateful that it was fucking a nightmare doom, because it forced me to dig deep and look inside, right? And that's how I got my answers, and that's how I moved forward. So yeah, overthinking has kept me in this shit show longer. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? Now you're aware of it, right? Now you're on a path. Now you're in a group with people that got your back and supporting you, that also, went through it. And when you have a group that you're with, like my coaching group, and you hear everybody's story, and you see a lot of repetition of the same shit that everybody's dealt with, it makes you feel like, okay, all right. It gives you confidence, and it's, believe it or not, 5 beds or 5 heads, 5 beds. 5 heads are better than one when it comes to recovery, because it moves you through it quicker. because you're getting evidence from and information from everybody at the same time, and you're using that for yourself as evidence and for confidence, and it moves you forward quicker compared to when you're on your own. I was on my own for most of it. You're lost at sea and you're putting shit together one by one, making your mistakes. You got the delay, you have nothing to reference, right? So it takes longer. Eventually, I was lucky I had some people that I could talk to, get some bounce back some ideas, and then it would push me forward with, get me over the bridge, right? But when you're in a group, it does help you gather the information that you need to load yourself to move over that bridge and to get the leverage so you can move faster through this journey. So, yeah, awesome. So, yeah, I wanted to mention that I am having an interview. It'll be on my podcast. Make sure you put it in your calendar. April the 18th, Dan Buglio, 4 p.m. That'll be fun. And I'm thinking about talking about normal abnormalities when it comes to back pain, any sorts of pain, shit like that. So that should be fun. And yeah, I'll post that one. It'll be live, and I'll post that one. 100% agree with being in coaching group. Mate turns to two-wheel drive into all-terrain. That's a great way of thinking of it. Yeah, I noticed that the way you bring things up makes sense. I'm like, yeah, you know what? And for me, it also helps me get 5 different people's perspective, or sometimes we have 11 people in a group. So sometimes I have 5, sometimes I have 11. But you get different perspectives, and also it helps me improve the stuff that I'm already working on, right? So let's say I have like 7 pillars, and then I'm like, you know what? I think it's better to, separate this one pillar and make it into 2, because sometimes when you put things together, things get missed. So that's why I've changed my pillar. It went from 5 to 7. Now it's 9, right? But it's only because certain things should be separated. Now I'm able to bounce things off people, listen to what they're going through, and then they remind me of stuff that I forgot to mention, because when you're recovered, you kind of forget all the shit you went through because your brain doesn't focus on it anymore. You're recovered. It closes that door. It's like, all right, we're done. We're moving forward in life. And then you have to actually think about shit. But sometimes you don't bring stuff back until somebody else mentions it and you go, oh yeah, that's right. In this way, I'm able to update, right? And go, yes, I went through this. Yes, I can do a video about that, and that can help somebody or help many people. And maybe I should put that into my program. So right now I'm writing a program on a website. I just have to refilm content and update it, make it spicier, and just get it out there. I'm going to have a forum, a community, so people can join and talk with each other and help each other out. And that'll be fun. I can't wait to have that going. It's going to be so much fun. Love that Buglio put his photo on his website so I could see how twisted. Yes. Yeah, it was like this. Dan Buglio's back was like this. He was like, right? Twisted, but helps me not freak out about the imbalances in our body that got this. Oh man. I remember when I was having pelvic floor pain. It was affecting all areas from here down, right? And I would have freakouts thinking that I'm going to damage something. I knew I was having inflammation. I knew shit was going like this constantly for fucking 3 years, like this constantly, right? And my catastrophizing thoughts was always like, something's going to get damaged. You're going to need surgery. And that was the fear that I would have to work on it, expose my fear to, bring it up a bunch of times so that the alarm would be meh. Because, I would feel heat. There'd be times where it would morph and change to different symptoms, of the tightness of my muscles. So, all of a sudden it would feel numb. All of a sudden it would feel like it was watery. And then all of a sudden it would feel hot, like it was on fucking fire. I'm like, man. And then like the first times of any of those symptoms was triggering like was a nightmare. And then when you experience them, you become friends with them, right? The stabbing pain in the bladder, all that shit, you become friends with it. Then when it comes back after the 10th time, you're like, ah, yeah, you're gonna go. You're fine. Now that other alarm that comes, yeah, you're gonna need surgery. It's gonna cause damage. I'm like, ah, no, it won't. Ah, you know what? My body's able to handle a lot of shit, and I know firsthand because everything always passes, and I know from experience. It's like, okay, or I'd go, you know what? Yeah, we might have damage. That's okay. Let's have damage tomorrow. Huh? Okay, well, I'll leave you alone now. All right, right? It did its job. It fucks off. But yeah, it's crazy. The body goes through so much shit, and we think we're scared. We're trying to micromanage it. We're like, I don't think you'll be able to handle it. I think, the proof, the brain's telling me something's good. We better make sure and go get checked so that, it needs support. It needs some help. Are you okay, buddy? Can you handle this pain? Are you gonna explode? Are you gonna fucking, please don't, I got, you have to become to a point where you just trust your body and surrender and go, you know what? If you're gonna explode, that's on you, buddy. That's all on you. I'm not gonna micromanage anymore, man. Right? I gotta trust you. I gotta be able to trust you so I can fucking focus on this shit. Because I know if I focus on this shit will regulate. I know that's how I'm gonna help you. That's how I support you is by turning off the alarms, and then you're gonna regulate. So I gotta trust you for now to take the fucking bullet by the horns or to take the fucking wheel. Do your job. Stay in your lane. I'm gonna stay in my lane. And we're gonna do. I promise, I'll stay in my lane. You do your shit. I gotta trust you. I gotta let this go. And that's what I used to have to do. I used to be like, okay, you do your thing. I'm gonna have to let this go, and I gotta concentrate on working on my alarms, but with turbo exposures, and eventually with leverage, things. Because that's the secret, right? It's taking away the battle within yourself, so that baseline can come down, and then the tension loosens up, or the symptom regulates. That's the secret, is bringing down that baseline so the alarms stop pumping. And eventually the fire calms down. And when that happens, everything all these body alarms don't need to be there. They're irrelevant and they lift. Poof. Right? But people assume that when you have a symptom, we have to hit the symptom. We have to tackle the leg. Right? I have to help this leg. No, you have to regulate your alarm. The leg will regulate itself as a consequence of what you do here, right? It's like let's micromanage this. Then you're in a cycle that'll never work. So what you do is work on this, right? And then it goes right. So you're going through the back door. It's kind of like a parody. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So yeah, the Buglio thing. If anybody wants to check it out, check out Dan Buglio, Pain Free You. His story. He had back pain for 13 years, only because he had to figure this because they didn't have internet. YouTube is as good as we have it now, so information wasn't there like it is now. Like for me, I found information right away, and I was on my way to fucking recovery. With him, he had to make all the delays and the mistakes and trying this, reading this book, and he was reading books right out the ass, doing things the old school way, taking information in slowly, making the mistakes. That's why it took him 13 years. Like I'm sure if he coached himself at that time, might have took him, a year and a half, 2 years. So yeah, that's the way it is. But yeah, he's fully recovered. So the ruminating does calm down, although at the one point I thought it would go on forever from last September up until around 3 weeks ago. The ruminating has calmed. The mental fighting is unbearable. Yeah, that's why you have to allow the thoughts to be there. Let them do their thing, right? Because when you try to stop it, try to fix it, and resist and go, no, stop, no, I got to distract. That makes the alarms go bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It magnifies because the brain thinks, oh, that's dangerous. We need to make sure he sees this all the time. and focus on that alarm so that it keeps him safe. So he knows what he can keep away from, right? Let's enlarge that tiger's head so he knows he sees that danger clear as day. So he knows he can either fight or flee, right? But instead, when you have that tiger's head, you go towards it. You go, no, see, it's smokes and mirrors. We're not in danger. Look, we're safe. And that's how you send a message of safety, but how you react or act when you're in the danger. So you let the tiger walk around you, smell you, right? This fake tiger, because there's no tiger, but the brain thinks there is. So you got to show the brain by sitting in the fear, sitting in the danger, right? Going, I know you think there's a tiger right here, but we're safe. And eventually, it brings it down because you need to allow the alarms to do their thing, to have their dance. Let it dance, right? Let it do its dance. People keep trying to handcuff these alarms. No, don't. Let it do its thing because that's how it dies down. And that's how you shut the inner battle down. And that's how you bring the baseline down. When the baseline comes down, then it has to stop pumping the alarms. It's an alarm system. It makes sense. When you're in a survival state, alarms go on. And there's a lot of them. When you're not in a survival state, alarms have to turn off and reset, right? Yep, my left side is different from my right side now. Especially if you see that picture. Constant clenching changes your blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Right. Clenching and constant, like, no relief. And then sometimes I'd be like, okay, release. And I could release it if I wanted to, right? But I'd have to mentally do it. And forcing yourself to calm down is just a coping mechanism that lasts for, as soon as you forget about it, it goes back to. So, right, you can mentally go, all right, loosen up. Oh, what's that? A bird? Oh, no, that was a pelican. I think. Oh shit, the subconscious program is back to where it is. But we have to look at it and go, no, do your thing. It's okay. I'm not stopping you. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to tell you to, I'm not going to let you do your thing. And then I'm going to look at that pelican over there. And then when you do that over time, you take that battle away, the baseline calms down, right? And then this regulates itself as a consequence because you've brought in the baseline down. Looking forward to it getting back into balance one day. Oh, do it now, right? But perceive that balance is happening now. This, what did I used to say? Live your life fully now, and recovery will come as a consequence. And you won't even know that recovery has come because you're living that life now. You're living that reality now. It's like, so you have to lead into that reality for it to happen, right? Because sometimes people, they wait on the sidelines, go, "No, I'm going to do that when I recover. Now, when I'm recovered, finding out, yeah, I'll do it. Just, A plus B equals C, blah, 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 blah. This is in order, blah, 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 blah." But actually, what you have to do is you got to go C first in order for everything else to follow along. So you got to create that reality inside you, and your environment will mirror that, if that makes any fucking sense. Knowledge, information, and coaching is the way through the storm. Yes, it's all about knowledge, experience, right? And you become your own guide. You, right? All this shit, all this stuff is great. You got the map, but you got to fall on your face. You got to go, just like going through the Goonies, you got to go through all these mazes, make your mistakes, and then you become an expert where you don't need the fucking map anymore, right? The map's all in here. It's a lifestyle, right? Zeus B. Gates, how's it going, man? Hi, Helmut. Do you suggest any type of meditation practices? Not for my program. The visualizations, like if you want to do meditations, do that as something that you like to do separately, right? Something that you enjoy, do it. And also think, are you doing the meditations because you enjoy it? Because you got to think, if you were recovered, if you're living a normal life, would you be meditating? Probably not, right? And for me, like, visuals work differently. Visuals, you're actually, you have activities and exercises that you need to do with the brain. You have to get, there's a purpose to it. There's a bunch of things that you're doing with visuals that I talked about earlier, right? But with meditation, it's more like, from what I've seen, I know there's different forms of meditations, but it's like, quiet the brain. Think about nothing. And for me, I couldn't do that because that was a prime time opportunity for the brain to hijack me and go, "Oh, look at this. He's trying to be quiet." Number one, I couldn't get quiet. The more I tried, the worse my alarms got. That was impossible. So meditation for me was more like resistance. I could not, right? And the brain would be like, "Oh, he's quiet. Okay, let's hijack him right here. Yeah, we got him. We got him." Right? It didn't work for me. That's why visuals, it's different. Visuals, you're actually using your brain. You're doing something with it to bring the baseline down. You're working it. You're reprogramming it. You're taking an old program, letting it run to run a new program, bringing the baseline down. You're working that spiritual muscle, right? You're doing, right? You're doing lots of stuff. It's changing associations, right? With meditation, I think it's more less doing, quietness, be still, be in the present moment, and tapping into your higher self. And I think you do that with visuals too. But I also noticed that if you're not regulated enough, the brain cock blocks you. It won't let you like I wouldn't have been able to meditate. It's impossible because of all the alarms that were going off. So I had to first regulate. And now if I want to meditation, I would benefit from meditation. I would enjoy it because then I can, just like my visuals, tap into consciousness, explore my spiritual side, and seek enlightenment, and I could really feel it. But when your brain's cock blocking you with alarms, it's good luck with that. That's not gonna, you'll have resistance, and you'll be, meditating the doom thoughts because the brain is the gatekeeper. The physical brain is a gatekeeper that lets you or doesn't let you tap into the spiritual side. So I always say, tune your physical self first so that you can reach and work that spiritual muscle. So I would say do your visuals no matter what. And if you want to meditate for whatever reason, do that separately. But don't, go, well, I meditated. That's the same as visuals. Totally separate thing. No matter what, do your visuals. I am late to medical appointment, hoping you will post today's. Oh, yes, 1000%. This usually goes live right onto YouTube afterwards. So, yeah. All right. So today was great. I had fun. This has been good. I'm going to do more of these more often because, yeah. Thank you, Angela. We got to get you on these, whatchamacallit, my podcast. We'll have one. And we're doing one also with you in Zoom with Diane, me, and you in a week, I think we are. I'm going to post that one too. But yeah, it's been great. And you know what? I'm going to do more of these because these are fun. And these help a lot of people because you guys can ask questions and we can talk about symptoms. We can get it all out there. And yeah, this is great. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend and regulate and get uncomfortable. That's your homework. Get uncomfortable, do something, expose yourself to something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and elevate. Have fun times, like playtime. Listen to music, dance a little bit, and maybe have some chocolate tonight. Yeah, I'm going to have some chocolate tonight. What are you guys having tonight? Thanks. Awesome, mate. Thanks, Steven. Thanks for coming out, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you.